Yo, what's up, Diamond family? It's your man Vivi, and welcome back to the VVS Academy. As you guys know, I'm here every week dropping off gems, teaching you to record and mix your music better. So if that sounds good to you, stick around. Look, man, got a really crazy video for you guys. I'm going to be showing you guys the 3 simple mistakes you're making with EQ that are ruining your vocals. All right, I won't even overtalk it. We're going to jump right into it and play back the track. So let's hear it.
We don't gotta tell nobody. She like it when I'm touching on her body. No mama wanna even roll me. Put you on the flight, take you home with me. I know you wanna. We don't gotta.
All right, bet. So as you can hear, the song already sounds good. And the first mistake you're making why your EQ is not working out is that you're not balancing out the vocals and the beat. And if you're still struggling with that and struggling to get the vocals to sit inside the beat, check out my free course down below. It's going to teach you how to get your vocals to sit inside the beat, teach you how to do it every single time flawlessly, and really get your mixes started off on the right foot. All right. So tip number 1 is to make sure that your vocals and your beat are balanced. So let's look at our 2 faders. Our all vocals and our mix bus. Let's just look at the correlation between the two, where they're both peaking at.
We don't gotta tell nobody. She like it when I'm touching on her body. No mama wanna even roll me. Put you on the flight, take you home with me. I know you want.
Now, bear in mind that nothing is compressed in terms of like the vocals or anything, but you see that the vocal, the majority of the signal is living in the same place as the majority of the beat signal. That's kind of a good indication that you have a decent balance. Just a quick way to kind of reference that and know. All right, so that's the first tip. The second tip, let's go over here to our lead vocal bus and dig in. The second thing I can tell you that you're doing wrong is that you're boosting when you should be cutting. So when we listen to this vocal, it sounds a little bit dark. What you might do instead is grab the high end and boost it. But instead, you might want to cut some low end, and vice versa. If you listen to the vocal and it's overly bright, there's too much high end, instead of boosting the low end, maybe you need to cut some high end. So what we're going to do in this instance is listen to the vocal, understand what it needs, and apply that.
We don't gotta tell nobody. She like it when I'm touching on her body. No mama wanna even roll me.
Cool, so I think the low end is pretty much there. It's the high and the mid range that I think needs some attenuation. So what I'm gonna do is actually take this highest band on this API EQ. I'm gonna run it up to 20,000 hertz, I'm sorry. And I'm gonna take off 4 dB there. And now let's listen to our vocal.
We don't gotta tell nobody. She like it when I'm touching on her body. No mama wanna even roll me. Put you on the flight, take you home with me. I know you wanna.
So now, as you listen to that, we rolled off 4 dB in the high register, but it didn't take a lot of highs away from the vocal. What it did was free up some space in the higher end of our overall track. So it lets our hi-hat stand out more, lets our clap sound a little more crispy, and it kind of eliminates some frequency range in the vocals that we don't really need. So make sure that you're cutting rather than boosting if that's what the situation calls for. So after I cut frequencies, and I'm actually going to cut something in the low end. So let's listen there too and see if we can smooth that out.
We don't gotta tell nobody. She like it when I'm touching on her body. No mama wanna even roll me. Put you on the flight, take you home with me. I know you wanna. We don't gotta tell nobody. She like it when I'm touching on her body. No mama wanna.
Cool, so as you'll notice, as we flip back and forth, the volume has changed now. Since we've taken 4 dB from the high end, 2 dB from the low end, the volume has changed. And so that's why we need to make sure that we follow tip number 3, which is to make sure that you're boosting the output of your EQ after you've reduced some signal. So let's go ahead and I'm just gonna boost it 3 dB because we cut one of these 2, we cut the other one 4. We're gonna boost it 3 and then use our ears to see where we stand.
We don't gotta tell nobody. She like it when I'm touching on her body. No mama wanna even roll me. Put you on the flight, take you home with me. I know you wanna.
Cool, I like the way that sounds. The vocal now is a little bit louder than I want it to be, but that's perfect because the next step is gonna be compression. When you balance out your tracks like this, first of all, you can hear a lot more clearly. And then when you follow up that great balance with EQ, it lets you hear the compression issues a lot more clearly. So I'm going to play this vocal back and I'll point out some of the compression issues I hear that we could probably fix with proper compression that we can now hear because we've cleaned up the frequencies within the vocal. So let's hear it.
We don't gotta tell nobody. She like it when I'm touching on her body.
So listen to body. the first half of Body is quieter than the second half. And the same thing kind of happens on the next bar. You can hear it's like he's moving back and forth from the mic. And so compression is going to save that and have the vocal sound like he was present and right in front for every single word of the vocal. But if you listen now, you can hear those things and accurately assess and actually fix those things better because you've done the work beforehand. You've cleaned things up so that now you can accurately hear what you're affecting. So let's listen to that again.
We don't gotta tell nobody. She like it when I'm touching on her body. Little mama wanna even roll me, put you on the flight, take you home with me. I know you wanna we don't gotta tell nobody. She like it when I'm touching on her body.
It's actually even more dramatic if you listen to She Like It When I'm Touching. Listen.
We don't gotta tell nobody. She like it when I'm touching on her body. Little mama wanna even roll me.
And so honestly, we might be able to fix that with some more EQ. Let's go for a lower EQ and actually cut off more frequency and see if that kind of changes the way we hear that, the change in volume.
We don't gotta tell nobody. She like it when I'm touching on her body. Little mama wanna.
And as you noticed, it got a little bit better. I think we just had a little influx of that lower frequency. I think it's a little bit higher than that though. So I'm gonna hold the shift key and try and, I think it's shift, and I'm gonna try and go in between it. Actually, I think it's command. Yeah, I'm gonna go in between these frequencies and I'm thinking maybe 150, 160 might be the sweet spot. So let's listen.
We don't gotta tell nobody. She like it when I'm touching on her body. Little mama wanna even roll me, put you on the flight, take you home with me. I know you wanna we don't gotta tell nobody. She like it when I'm touching on her body. Little mama wanna even roll me. We don't gotta tell nobody. She like it when I'm touching on her body. Little mama wanna even.
And you can see that when you really think about it, the effects that we have to use, the main ones, EQ and compression, they're all just volume knobs. So if you rather control the volume with EQ rather than compression, you're basically doing the same thing. Because we were able to get that vocal to sound more consistent and more compressed using EQ before we even touched any compression and really did any, automated gain reduction, which is basically what compression is. But look, man, I know this is a little more of an advanced tip, but I really want you guys to dig in and start applying this to your songs. Definitely check out my free course below. It's going to get you to balance your vocals and your beat perfectly every time. But if you need a little bit more help, just drop me a line down below. My name is Vivi and I'm here for you. Remember, stay humble, make diamonds only. Peace.
We don't gotta tell nobody. She like it when I'm touching on her body. Little mama wanna even roll me, put you on the flight, take you home with me. I know you